And behind them all are men like George Soros, the money changer in the temple of capitalism, who is trying to destroy capitalism in order to benefit even more. Because to demented people, to very, very demented people, there's no such thing as enough money or enough power. In other words, you could have $100 billion, but you don't yet control all of the avenues of speech in the world. Therefore, you're still a man suffering from individuals who know who you are. And so you have to then invent a group, a fascist group such as Media Matters, that sits with a bunch of morons with tapes right out of the Soviet Union, trying to catch men who are telling the truth in saying things that can be put together in other pieces and sent on to hang them, not with their own words, but with their own words twisted by the vermin in Media Matters. If we had a legitimate government, Media Matters would be investigated by the IRS for the scam that they are pulling off. Let me explain why. Media Matters, funded in part by George Soros, alleges to be a nonprofit organization. I told you about this years ago. They're the ones who took my sound bites and sent them to the lowlifes in England, and they took them out of context. They do it to Rush, they do it to O'Reilly, they do it to others on the right. They take our words and they cut them up and they twist them. They have whole rooms filled with little communist bastards and bastards of the lowest order. Something out of, remember there's a movie years ago called The Conversation by Francis Ford Coppola, where he showed government agents sitting in a room with headphones, listening in on conversations. That's what these petty bastards in Media Matters do. And you don't understand the kind of damage they're doing to free speech in the world. But let's put that aside. I'm not here to complain. They are alleged to be a nonprofit. They pay no taxes. They raise tens of millions of dollars a year, according to what I've read. They pay no taxes. They give themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in salaries. And yet, they're a political arm of the Democrat Party. The far-left Democrat Party, by the way. If we had a legitimate opposition in this country, the Republicans would investigate Media Matters. They, of all people, are not straw men. They are naked bastards. Remember, I've had all the enemies of the truth after me from the day I began. I'm telling you exactly how it is. And they've not gotten me off the air yet, and they never will, because the truth is more powerful than 1,000 liars. One man telling the truth is more powerful than 10 million little communist vermin working for George Soros in dirty little rooms with tape recorders. All of those people who are listening to me right now who work for George Soros, let me tell you something. I would say you should be ashamed of yourself for being exactly what your ancestors fled from in Russia or Poland. But I think you're beyond that. I think you're so drugged you don't even know what you become. You haven't any idea how low you have become. You haven't any idea that you are exactly everything you've feared all of your life. Little people sitting in rooms with tape recorders, taking the truth, cutting it up and turning it into something that was not said in order to try to crucify somebody electronically. But you haven't won yet, and you never will win. In fact, at the end of the day, you'll probably go to jail. One day, there will be a legitimate government again in this country, and when that happens, you will all be indicted for tax evasion. And you'll not only give back every penny you stole under the guise of being nonprofit as Media Matters, you'll go to prison.
Savage.